Welcome to Let's Automate It with Robin, automation and AI for non-techies. And we're focusing on n8n. n8n is my favorite automation platform. And this is the homepage of n8n. This is a very simple n8n installation. We've got a couple of workflows listed here, but we need to keep the server backed up. We need to make sure we've got copies in case something goes wrong. And of course, we're automation people, so we want to do this with automation. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, this particular n8n has been installed exactly the same way as my n8n installation video on this channel shows you how to do it. And it's been done and installed on a DigitalOcean droplet. So I'm going to show you how you can back up this n8n instance via automation using DigitalOcean and something called snapshots. So we have two workflows here we're going to work with. We're going to keep a snapshot backup and we're going to delete old snapshots. And the reason for that is we get charged a small amount of money for old snapshots because we're storing it on the server. So we don't want to be paying for snapshots we don't need. So we're going to look at both of these workflows. So let's click into this one first, n8n snapshot backup. And let's work through it. Very, very simple workflow here. Very simple workflow indeed. Give it a couple of seconds to load. Now we are going to need to be able to access n8n. So let's just break this down. We have a trigger here, which is called a cron job. You can call it a timer, a trigger, whatever it might be, whatever you want to call it. I think if you actually type in trigger, actually, I think if you type in timer, there it is, schedule trigger, that's what it is. And this one I've just triggered to run every week at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. You could trigger this every day, every hour, whatever you choose. It doesn't matter the duration, whatever works for you. So that's when it's triggered. Then we're using an HTTP node. HTTP node, the Swiss Army knife of nodes. If there isn't a DigitalOcean, actually, let's just check. I haven't checked in a while. Maybe there's a DigitalOcean. Not seeing it. Let's type in the word ocean. Okay, so no DigitalOcean nodes just yet, which means we need to use an HTTP node, which is the Swiss Army knife of accessing API keys. So we can programmatically access DigitalOcean. But before I go into that, let's go have a look at the DigitalOcean console. So I've logged into DigitalOcean here, and we have one droplet running. This is the droplet that we're in. And if I click into this droplet, down this left-hand menu here, we have something called snapshots. Now, what is a snapshot? A snapshot is basically a photograph of your server as it stands at that moment of time. All the settings, the data, the database, everything on that server. It's a carbon copy of your existing server as it stands. So if you've got multiple services on your server, not just n8n, perhaps you're running other servers, well, a snapshot will take a backup of all of those things. So you can manually take a snapshot here, this by saying take a live snapshot, and this will take a snapshot. And here we have two existing snapshots at the moment on this account. We have one created a couple of hours ago and one created 4 days ago. So this is what we're trying to automate, taking a live snapshot. We want to do this via automation. So that's our goal. Let's go see how we can do that. So this is the node we need to work with, HTTP node. And the first thing is we need to get a list of the droplets that are on the page at the moment, on the DigitalOcean account at the moment. So we need to do some API work here. So we need to have an authentication. We need to blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's figure this out. So first of all, we need credentials to access DigitalOcean. I'm going to go create some brand new credentials here. In fact, before I do that, let's look at the existing one. This is what it looks like. This is the credentials we need to create. Seem to be struggling with slow internet all day today, and I can see it here just taking a while to load. Let me, there's luck would have it. The moment you click away, it loads up. Give it a couple of seconds. Let's wait for this to load up. There it is. So it's very, very simple. We have to type the word authorization in here, and then we need to go and get an API key that we're going to put into that. So we're just going to grab authorization and get a new key. So I'm just actually going to just copy that right now. I'm going to cancel this, open this up, and I am going to, whoops, the wrong one. I am going to go and create a brand new credential here. And I'm just going to, once this loads, damn, I'm really struggling with slow internet today. It's a Sunday here. I am. Maybe the internet's taking a Sunday, having a slow, lazy Sunday. There it is. Okay, so I don't need that value in there. I don't know what that is, but let's just pop authorization into that. We're just going to change this to, I'm just going to call this temp, because I'll delete these straight afterwards. Temp DigitalOcean. Okay. And don't know why that is. Let's just delete that out. Okay, now we need a value to put into that. So let's head back over to DigitalOcean, and we're going to go and get that value. So down the left-hand menu, we're going down to API. API is how we're going to access this. Finally, there it loads. So now we're on the API page, and we need a token. So I have one token set up already, but we're going to go create a brand new token. And so here we go. Generate new token. I'm just going to call that temp. Now you can set its expiration time. I'm just going to keep this really short, but you might want to set this for a year, or even no expiry or no expiry at all. Now the reason to have shorter expiration dates is just for security reasons. That'll expire, and if someone does get their hands on it, they can't do anything with it after 30 days. So we're just going to keep this for 30 days now, and let's grant full access to this because we don't know exactly what we need. So give it all, and let's generate a token. So this is going to give us the token we're after. We have our token. Here we go. I'm going to go and copy this. But actually, before that, I'm going to leave that on the screen because I actually want to show you something. We're going to quickly, I'm just going to open the DigitalOcean API docs in a new tab. Now, we are using an HTTP node in n8n. So it's a jackable trade node. So it's not purpose-built for DigitalOcean, so we need to pay a bit more attention to the settings because the standard settings for the HTTP node are not DigitalOcean specific, so we need to make sure we're right. So we're in authentication here, and if we look at authentication, I think here we go. Forget all this fancy stuff, but can you see here it says bearer space then the DigitalOcean token. So we're going to go back to n8n, and I'm going to write in the word bearer, and then I'm space, and then I'm going to put in that DigitalOcean token that we've just created into our node. There's the word authorization, which needs to come in. And if I go back to n8n, we've got this in here. So now I'm going to type in bearer space. Oh, let's make that fixed rather. So I'll just space, and then we go back and copy this key. Come back here, paste that in now, and now we hit save. That is now saving that credential here within n8n, so we can use it to read our DigitalOcean server, our snapshot. Okay, so that's now set up, and there's our credential. Now I'll just copy these headings here. I've gone through the API docs. I figured it out. So let's not get bogged down in detail here. You want to have header auth. It's a GET request. And this here is the URL of the API. This is just the URL we're going to hit. This is where the information we require lives. So the n8n will go over to this URL, and then using these credentials, we'll be able to log in, and it's going to return the data we want in a JSON format. That's just a nice kind of structured data set. So let's see if that's working. Let's hit test setup. And here's our response. It's listing all the droplets that we've got, and we've got a couple of droplets in here. So it's listed all of those droplets. Fantastic. We know what's there. And why did we do that? Well, we actually needed some information. We needed to know which droplet to copy. Now, a droplet is the name of our server. Let me go back into here. We go back into droplets. So we're taking a snapshot of a droplet. Now, you may have multiple droplets. You want to know which one you're taking a copy of. So by doing this little service, we're able to get back the ID that we want. And this is the ID, the identification number of the droplet we want to copy. So I've just dragged this in here, And this is the endpoint I want to be using. Just copy this in here. Just digitalocean.com v2 droplets, and then drag in. I'll delete this out so you can see exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to delete that out, and then I'm going to drag this in, and I can drop it right between these slashes, and there you go. I am now going to take a snapshot because pay attention. Sorry, I'm going through this a little bit vaguely. Header auth. I am now using my temp credentials I just set up, and we've changed this to a post method. It was a get method in the first droplet. In this droplet, it was a get method because we were getting data. Now we actually want to do something, so we're going to post the command, and we want to post. This is the URL we want to hit, and now we're telling it exactly which DigitalOcean droplet we want to take a snapshot from. And now here under body parameters, we've got type and snapshot. Now this looks a little bit crazy, I know, but just copy this, literally copy this straight forward, because once it's done, it's set and forget. You don't have to do this again. So we are going to test the setup. Now it takes, depending how big your droplet is, it can take a couple of minutes to get it done. Now, snapshot in progress. It's busy taking a snapshot right now. It's going to take a little while, but that's it. If you've got this flow up and running once a week, once a day, once an hour, whatever works for you, it's going to take a new snapshot. So we're going to leave that alone. It's busy doing its job. And we're going to come look at the second workflow that I spoke about, and that is actually deleting old snapshots. So let me just save this because I added those new credentials. And we'll come back into the home drive here. And now we're going to delete old snapshots. Now the way I do this is, again, I run a trigger and I run it the same day, a little bit later in the day. So there's always, there's a brief overlap of the snapshots. But here we go. I'm going to jump into this one again. Let's just change this to our temporary one we've got. And we're going to go get a list of all the snapshots now. So we're just follow through these. We're using a generic credential. And there it is. And there is the URL we want to hit. Just copy that out. Pause the video if you have to and just copy that out. Okay, and now we're going to want the response in JSON. And if we hit this, it's going to tell us that I believe we've got 2 snapshots with a third being created. I'm not sure if that third is finished yet. So there's one snapshot. There's the, and just give us a time created, date, time. It was, this is the one that's just being created right now. Okay, so now we have a list of the existing snapshots on here. So now we're just going to convert that data into something that's a little bit more readable. So let's just have a quick items. And what are we splitting out? We want fields to split out snapshots. So that's this one. We just want to split this out and we want to include all the other fields. We're just going to test that. Just copy this layout. And it just breaks it out into individual items. So now we have our individual snapshots broken out. This is just restructuring data. So we've done that now. And now we're using an if node. We're using an if node to check the date. So we're looking to see if the date the snapshot was created at, okay, did it occur before 1 week ago? And this is a little expression I've used to figure out 1 week ago. Now, how can you figure out these expressions? Go and ask OpenAI or Claude. Give me an expression, give me a one-line expression to figure out the date before today. And this is it. Date time now, but minus 7 days. That's a week ago. That's what we're asking. So let's run this, and it's going to return all the snapshots that are older than a week. And we can see none of them are older than a week. Everything is younger than a week because none of them fall into this category. If we go to the false branch, we can see this was created. Today is the 8th of the 9th. So this was created on the 4th of the 9th. This was created on the 7th of the 9th. And this was created on the 8th of the 9th today. So none of these are older. Okay. If they were older, they would have passed down this true line. And we would come in here. We'd run exactly the same credential again. And now this request method would be delete. So we've got the header, post, all these different settings. He changes the to delete. And again, just copy out this. And you can even copy out this exact expression because that's going to pull in the ID of any snapshot that's older than a week. Now, in this case, I don't have anything, so it's not going to work. And we'll run this and it'll delete older than a week. Now, what happens if you want to delete stuff younger or older? Just come back and change this if node. If you want to make it older, minus 14 days for 2 weeks ago, minus 1 day for yesterday, you can mess with this and get the result that you want. And set this up to run an hour or so after you run your backups, and it'll delete the snapshots that you don't want, because there's a minor cost to running with snapshots that are on your DigitalOcean, because they do charge you for data. So pretty straightforward. Run what they call a cron job, a trigger, list all the snapshots, put them into a structure that makes a little bit more sense, check for their date, and those that are older, delete. Nice and easy. And let's quickly do a recap, as I like to do. Quick little recap of the n8n snapshot backup as well. What are we doing here? We're running this weekly at 1 a.m. in the morning. We are listing all the droplet data so that we can find the droplet that we want, and then we're taking a snapshot of that droplet. So we've always got a backup here. Now, I do realize, and some of you may notice in the comments, this snapshot is living on the same server as your main n8n installation. And that may be weak. You can see 6 minutes ago this has been installed. And you may consider this a weakness, because if this server goes down, then it's going to take these snapshots with it. That could happen. I've been running DigitalOcean servers for a very long time. Never had that happen. And I think they have some system backups and redundancy on their side. So I trust them to have that. They do have their own backup facility, which is very, very cheap, which I'd recommend taking on. But, you know, I'm an automation guy. I wanted to see it happen. So I rely on this method. It's worked for me. And if something does go pear-shaped, it's very easy. I can drop down this menu and I can click restore droplet, and it's instantly restored. I don't need to do anything fancier than that. All the settings, everything under the sun is restored straight away within a couple of seconds. And I can actually share these droplets. I can transfer it to a snapshot to another server, and I can make clones of these droplets very, very easy using the server. So I really, really do like it. I hope that's been useful to you. You now know how to keep a backup of your DigitalOcean droplets by using this thing called snapshots, and you can do it via automation. Check out our community, all the bits and pieces in the notes down below. Come and join us. As always, you'll be able to grab a copy of this these workflows so you don't have to figure it out. And if you need to get these commands, just pause the video, pull these commands off here. This is a little bit techie, and I know this is a channel for non-techies, but if you just literally blindly follow along with these, it's going to work. It's going to work. Trust me, and your life's going to be a lot easier. Until the next video, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. Have fun with the n8n and automation, and I'll catch you next time. Adios.